let's put the joy back in the holidays. We talk about this in our latest episode on Dan Cam podcast, a Candid Conversation, one of our short form episodes, where we're talking about how sometimes religion can be a huge wet blanket on the holiday season. And Candy went through a bunch of examples in her life growing up under strict evangelicalism and just how much of just worrying whether or not they were going to have a Christmas tree or if they were going to have stockings or what the celebration was going to look like this year, or even that sometimes if they were going to have it or not, because all of the pagan roots of the Christmas holiday. And just some of the fun filled things of Christmas. You know, when you're kids and you have all those presents, just that wet blanket on you of don't be so thankful or eager for those presents because you got to remember what today's all about. This was Jesus's birthday. And I get it, you want to teach your religion and do all that, but when you start taking away from the joy of the holidays, and I remember when we were older, having to go to non-Christian households for celebrations and just that pressure of being that person to make sure we bring up the message of God, the gospel story, and just brought joy out of our lives because now we weren't able to just sit down and enjoy friends or family. We were on a work assignment, a mission to convert people to our faith. And so much of this took so much joy from us. And we never realized it until we finally deconstructed and didn't have that focus at all times in the back of our head of, did we do enough today? Did we please God enough? Because the holiday became more about pleasing a vengeful, jealous deity than it was about celebrating times with family and friends. And when we left the faith, we realized that and started experiencing true joy at Christmas time, minus the religion. It's not lost on me that we finally found joy and happiness in a fun-filled, fulfilled life once we got rid of the religious systems. Because they are a wet blanket on anything. Because everything has to go back to their God. And everything has to be about that God. Because that God is a narcissist and needs that at all times. So let's stop worrying about putting the Christ back into Christmas. And maybe let's just start focusing about putting joy back into the holidays.